Welcome to the ThunderCast, your Marshall Athletics podcast produced by the fans, for the fans, with your hosts, Russ Livingood and KD Hudnall. We're bringing you the thundering word on the thundering herd each and every week, so keep it right here. The ThunderCast is on the loose. Thanks for downloading another episode of the ThunderCast. You can follow us on Twitter at @ThunderCast_pod. The ThunderCast, of course, proud members of the College Huddle Podcasting Network. You can find them online at thecollegehuddle.com, bringing you the opponent fan perspective. As you saw in our most recent preview episode of Marshall versus Ohio State, we had Eric Buckeye Boggs, both founder of the College Huddle and the OHIO podcast. So really thankful to have him on the show, helping us break down the Buckeyes and the herd. But Russ, busy week in herd athletics. We're in the throw of things. Let's get into everything as fast as we possibly can with a quick word from our sponsors at 304carwreck.com.
If you've been hurt in a wreck, call the law firm of Leasure Oliver PLLC. Find them at 304carwreck.com.
Okay, man. We're burning the midnight oil here. Life has been very, very hectic for us, yet the herd train rolls on. So how about you give me at least 5 things every herd fan needs to know this week?
Here are 8 things every herd fan needs to know this week, as always, brought to you by IgniteLink, the Tri-State's premier IT management team. Number 1, Hoops in Huntington will be Thursday, October the 3rd at 8 p.m. in front of Pullman Square.
Dude, all right, really quickly. I have been trying to figure out a way to be in Huntington to go to this event. I've wanted to go because it looks so cool. I've been in Florida and I haven't been able to even think about being there for this type of thing. But now being so close, I would love to see. I hope my schedule works out in such a way. I would gladly drive the 2.5, 3 hours to do that and then come back and, get ready for work or something if I had to the next. Such a cool event. And it's turned into, I tweeted this, a really marquee do not miss event for the city, for Pullman Square, and for Marshall University in just 2 short years. Such a cool event.
You have that PODA district area, whatever you want to call it, where you can go to this event or this location, grab a drink in the PODA cup, walk over there. All that's going to be right there now. There has been a renaissance downtown of all these different eateries, beverage places, things like that. It's in a great location. It's something that we never had anything like this before. It's just been amazing to go to this and watch it transpire. So I'll definitely be there. I know that it's been well attended in the past. The only thing that you really can't plan for is weather. Because it's outdoors. But even with some questionable weather the last 2 years, it's not been bad at all. Number 2, Cameron Jarvis named Sun Belt Conference Golfer of the Week.
Oh, not really super surprising, right? Heard men's golf, good showing there in the first, winning the first tournament of the season on the home course, of course, and some really good individual scores to push the herd to victory in that one. So not really super surprising.
Yeah. And, we talked about what Cameron Jarvis did there, at Guyana, historic round. Just well deserving and everything, but you could have taken a couple of different people from that performance in that open invitational there and said, yeah, they're on a short list for Sun Belt Conference Golfer of the Week. But congrats to Cameron. We're going to have a lot more about the golf program when we get to Around the Herd. Number 3, Bren Brown makes the Rocket Invitational all-tournament team. Picked up another triple-double during that.
Another week, another all-tournament team. Bren Brown has been on an absolute freaking tear to start the volleyball season for the herd, as are a couple of other players. Peyton Neal has found herself on some lists and some national rankings. Coach Ari's got the girls rocking and rolling. Herd volleyball is high energy as always. And I got to be honest with you, man. It's kind of the feel-good story of this young herd athletic season because how it all kind of went downhill for them last year, and now we're on a really big uptick. Coach already hit the portal really hard. They hit the high school recruiting ranks really hard, and it's paying off in this early season, man. You love to freaking see it.
This next one kind of slipped through the cracks last week, and I didn't have it on there. And I am going to take a guess based on other surnames that I've heard pronounced this way. So if I'm saying this wrong, someone please reach out. We always want to get this correct at the ThunderCast. No one wants to have their name botched, so forgive me if I do. But Bailey Lange, Lange, is named as the pitching coach for softball.
Yeah, I saw that too, and it was just by like luck. It just happened to come across the timeline before the official announcement by like the Herd softball account or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that Coach Zirkle made the comments as she continues to fill out her coaching staff with high-performing mid-major players, former mid-major players, right?
Mm-hmm.
She thinks that's a really important point of emphasis, and I do too, because you're coaching mid-major players and you want to surround them with high performers that did it with the same resources that they may have around them, and to kind of show them like, hey, you can do things from here. You don't have to be at Oklahoma in order to have success and to make a pathway for yourself. I love it, man. I love what Coach Zirkle has continued to do with her evolving coaching staff. And now with this roster that she's ironed out. Remember, we hit the portal for a couple of pitchers. Now a new pitching coach. Hey man, you know, little smoke and fire thing hopefully here. So, you know, we'll keep a close eye to this program, as we have since the inception of the ThunderCast, and kind of look on with I don't know, what do you call it? Cautious optimism, or is it just now outright optimism?
I'm optimistic. I thought that it was going to be a rebuilding year last year. First experience as a head coach. You know, a couple of players left to follow the previous coach. I thought that we had a very respectable year, and I think that we're going to take a big leap forward in the next couple of years. So.
For sure.
Number 5, Eastern Kentucky is our final non-conference game for football in 2025. We will host them on September 13th, 2025.
Okay. It's a game, dude. We kind of had we had a roundabout for a hot minute on the Twitterverse of when this news came out the other day, and you know, we've got some friends that have some strong opinions on the philosophies of the scheduling and all that stuff, and when, you know, on an individual basis, when you look at these games, you're like, okay, all right, but then when you see them all out and what the actual home slate looks like for the Herd, it's just like, come on, man. Like, we got to have something. And it's nothing against Eastern Kentucky themselves. It's like they're just part of a conglomerate schedule that's just unappealing. You know, I don't care. I don't want to play Middle Tennessee all the time. I don't want to play, you know, some Missouri State or something like that. I don't want to play Central Connecticut Tech. You know what I mean? And I know we can do better than that, because we have done better than that in the past. You know, we play the MAC school every now and again, and that's cool from time to time because we have history with those guys. But there are other teams out there, I feel like, that we could schedule or would be willing to schedule home and homes with, that I think fans would be more excited about. It doesn't have to be a power conference team. I think there are peer level G5 teams that would probably want to do a home and home series with the Herd, that fans would be more excited about. And I know some of this, like, I can't just cast the blame on it because we lost games against, you know, Navy and Army and, you know, these teams that people were excited for. And now with this news of the expansion of the Pac-12 taking Boise, we now run the risk of even losing the Boise game in Huntington. Like, we haven't, but we don't know what their schedules are going to look like, you know, then. Right. And we could end up losing that game. And that's one that is really the only game left that a lot of fans are really excited about. So while it's nice and we were kind of under the gun because it's 24 and we needed a game for 25, well, okay, it's a game. We got a game.
Here's where I'm at on it. If we were going to have an FCS opponent, I would rather it be from Richmond, Kentucky, where some of their fans could drive over instead of Stony Brook coming from Long Island and they had 12 fans there.
Yes.
So if we're going to have that, an FCS, and traditionally we have had one amongst our home schedule, I'm not hating on that. It is not somebody that is going to get the casuals all excited. But you and I sit on here all the time and say we come to the games to watch Marshall play.
I do, but I want to go to the game to watch Marshall be challenged.
I do too. But if it's in a schedule situation where we've had all these things pop up, like you said, and we are under the gun, like you said, I would much rather have Eastern Kentucky coming over here from Richmond than, again, Stony Brook.
I agree.
Gardner Webb, even. I mean, even though that's not as far away as Long Island, it's still far away. And
yes. And I agree. And now we are not under the gun anymore.
Yeah.
So now it's time to kind of make up for this. And
right.
Again, they're getting grace from me because we lost good games that people wanted to see.
Yeah.
And we also made some strategic moves that got a little extra coin in the pocket of the athletic department. And we praised that move when it happened.
Yeah.
But now we're not under the gun. We're looking several years out at a schedule. And until you know for sure that you're going to be able to keep Boise State, you need to do your fans a solid and go out and schedule a couple of series with some teams that they can get behind.
I'm in agreement.
Yeah, that's all there is to it, man. I'm not trying to be a hater. It's like, all right, we suffered through the short sale. Now give us the long game and give us something good to look forward to.
Yeah. Number 6, kickoff for the Western Michigan game on September 28th has been set for 3:30 p.m.
I know, another bummer for me, damn it. As long as it's in the September, I want 7 o'clock kicks. I get it. It's for TV, whatever. I love a 7 o'clock kick in September.
So I have 2 in youth soccer up on Route 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to hop up early that morning and get one of them up there, I think, by 9:30. And then the other one will be right after that game at 10:30. So I'll be up on Route 2 at 11:30. And then I've got to figure out a way, get them back, get them where they're going so we can go to the game, pack up the tailgate gear then and get over there. That's way later than, I like to be there before the start of a game.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I pack it the night before, how do I prevent people from getting in and breaking into the vehicle, when I've got all my gear out there? Or if it's in the back of the truck, someone can just come and take it. There's just a lot of moving parts when you have kids in youth sports, and it's not just me. There's going to be a lot of people in that might have an 11:30 game or a 12:30 game or something up there, and then they have to figure out when they're going to be able to get there to tailgate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not suggesting that Marshall has come in and set up and said 3:30. This is what we want in September. A lot of this is dictated by the conference schedule later in the year. The conference picks it, TV picks it, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We can say, Marshall can say, we really want this time, and then they don't get it. They don't get what they want. So this isn't a shot at Marshall. This isn't even a shot at the television scheduling, because what do they care if a couple of fans are not going to get to tailgate as long as, they don't care as a TV provider, but it's just going to be an impact on the tailgating and the experience of people getting there before the game. And that's a big part of the game for me.
And you know what, as northern schools of the Sun Belt should be lenient, or not lenient, but should be willing to go, you know what, the James Madisons, Old Dominions, and Marshalls, they really need those later kickoffs in the early months of the season because they still have nice weather. Whereas the Georgia teams are going to have nicer weather in November,
Right.
and we are not. We're going to be freezing our begonias off up there for a 7 p.m. kick in November, So I know we look at these things a lot through green lenses, and we want what's best for us, but we're Marshall fans. Of course we want what's best for us. But the other thing that sucks about it is that it's Hall of Fame game, and there's going to be other stuff going on that you may have to miss out on because you're scrambling to get to the game before kickoff. Like Justin, you might not even get to tailgate. So it's just
I'm going to tailgate.
This one really needed to be a 7 p.m. kick. It really did.
Yeah. I'm going to tailgate. I'm going to tailgate.
Yeah.
I'm already working out the logistics. I'm going to make it happen. But again, this game is going to be on ESPN Plus. It's not like we're on a linear ESPN2 or ESPNU or something like that. It really would have been nice to have a 7 p.m.
So at
game.
that point, what the hell does it matter when you're
and it's
starts?
It's non-conference. We're not talking about even Sunbelt wanting to say, well, we don't want all of our teams going at the same time. We want to be able to spread it out so people can watch more Sunbelt. This is us against a MAC team, so I really, really was hoping for 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Hell, I'd take 5:30.
Anything later towards the evening would have been better.
Yeah. All right. 7. Speaking of that Hall of Fame weekend, tickets to the Hall of Fame induction banquet are on sale now through the ticket office. $75 each gets you dinner with that ticket and attendance, and then they'll have a cash bar.
It's in the Don Morris room, right?
Don Morris room, Friday evening.
So I was talking to my wife today, and I was telling her about that, and I was like, man, that would be so cool to be able to go to that. And she was like, well, why don't you go? And I'm like, because I don't know if I'll even be in the state, like I can't just plan that. And I said it would be super cool to go because we nominated some guys that got in. And I was like, that would be really cool to be there and just take part in that. It would be cool to go to it anyway, whether that happened or not. But
and you mentioned hoops in Huntington. That's the night before. So anybody that's trying to make a very long weekend to this, they're going to have a really nice weekend starting on Thursday evening. Go to hoops in Huntington, and then the very next day have the Hall of Fame induction.
I thought you said the hoops in Huntington was in October.
Oh, it is. What am I thought? Forget it.
Man, you scared me to death. I was like, dang, that's like next week.
That's the only mistake I'm ever going to make on this show.
No,
I'm sitting here, we were talking about hoops in Huntington on a Thursday, and I'm like, this is a Friday night event, and it's a freaking week off. But
it's all right. It's all right. You're running on fumes, man. It happens.
For anyone that cares, I'm 2.5 hours of sleep in about the last 36 hours, and I'm sick.
But I would have loved to suit up and go to that. I think it would be cool to just see one of those and to be able to go to one where we actually kind of had a small part in some of the guys getting inducted would be just a little extra special.
Now, it is worth saying that it's not like we picked out some obscure names and they were the only reason they got.
No, we just contributed to the application.
Yeah.
I didn't vote. I didn't get a vote.
Number 8, and our final thing, congratulations to Herd softball alum Sydney Nestor for her marriage this weekend. And she got married to Quinn Seitz. So now Sydney Seitz.
Yeah. It's funny you have that as a thing because I have it on a Post-it, and I was going to say that at the end of the show because I didn't know if that would just be a thing. But yeah, man, we met Quinn a couple of years ago at the first spring game tailgate that we did. And Sid's parents, Brad and Rhonda, were there, and I'm really happy for them. This is cool, man. And I don't know if you saw any of the photos from Instagram. It was like a softball reunion. Like they were all there.
Well, so one of the things that I was going to mention, and it's probably on Instagram, but it was definitely on Facebook. But some people done turned into a rude dude during the reception.
Oh,
and
okay.
the dance that they do before the softball games and everything's been going on for years. They recreated that there at the reception, so everybody looked like they were having a blast. There were some people that softball people that we've seen over the years and gotten to know over the years that were there. It was just a really good time. The biggest congratulations in the world from a fan of the ThunderCast, but also the ThunderCast, a fan of her, Sydney Nestor.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, Brad looked good. Rhonda looked good. Sydney, of course, was stunning. She was absolutely stunning, and I couldn't come up with a clever way to comment on one of the photos, but all I could think in my head was the smoking gun is now the stunning gun, because that's what she looked. She was absolutely stunning. So congratulations to Sid and Quinn on what we hope is a very long, prosperous, happy, healthy life. We love you guys, and it was great to see some photos of your very, very special day.
I noticed you didn't say Joey Lucas looked stunning, so I will. Joey, you look stunning as well. But that does it for the This Week 8 Things Every Herd Fan Needs to Know this week. As always, brought to you by Ignite Link.
All right, man. Awesome things. But I got to tell folks now, you're not going to get any type of feature or preview in this episode, because we have an extended Marshall football preview episode with Eric Buckeye Boggs from the OHIO podcast. That's a separate episode. So if you're expecting to hear your ComAssistKY.com Marshall football preview right now, it ain't happening. You're going to have to tune into a separate episode that's going to be posted after this one. So, hey, let's go around the herd.
And we were also on his podcast, so we will have our talking about Marshall on his that they will post, that we will be able to link to you as well. So you'll get plenty of coverage from both teams on that game, both of us coming from thecollegehuddle.com. Mm-hmm. Let's take it around the herd. Cross country, the women finished 4th out of 11, and men finished 6th out of 10 at the Fire Tower Project meet at App State. Kylie Maston finished 3rd, and in doing so, she set a personal best in the 6K.
Now, you have to forgive me on the event,
mm-hmm.
but she set a personal best last week as well. Was it the same event, or do you remember?
That's the same event.
Man, so 2
weeks.
No.
This is she only said it one time.
Oh, okay. I saw a tweet.
I think.
I don't know. I thought
did she set it at the Marshall Invitational?
I don't know. Maybe.
I'll find out.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Was this the event that she was 4th overall, or what?
Third overall.
3rd overall, but the top Sunbelt finisher.
Yes.
Okay, then it's the same event. So
okay.
I don't mean to shortchange big time, but I'm used to records falling in cross country and track, so you'll have to forgive me if you guys took a freaking week off and didn't set any brand new program records or personal bests. My bad.
Always hearing these names over and over. This is about the 3rd year that we've been doing this, and it's the 3rd year that we've been mentioning Kylie Maston in these around the herds and 5 things about always setting records or finishing at high levels and everything. But setting a personal best for the 2nd meet of the year, I think that's really good and indicative of what her in her final year in herd Kelly Green. It's looking like she's going to have a good year. Mm-hmm. Volleyball, they beat Northern Kentucky 3-2, lost to Eastern Washington 3-1, and then lost to the home team Toledo 3-0 this weekend in the Rocket Invitational. They actually earlier tonight, as we record this, it's getting almost midnight on Tuesday. They lost to Eastern Kentucky, and that one was 3-1. They will be heading to Greensboro, North Carolina for the UNCG tournament this weekend, facing Georgetown on Friday at 10 a.m., Tennessee Tech on Friday at 4:30 p.m., and then the home team UNCG, that's UNC Greensboro, on Saturday at 2 p.m.
So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you see Bryn Brown on an all-tournament team again.
I'm gonna say that's a safe bet.
Been an individual on a tear, like I alluded to earlier, but so okay, a little bit of a skid, but still playing really well as compared to last year as a team. Just because like the scores and the results aren't playing out. Ultimately, yeah, it's about wins and losses, and we don't want to just play well and lose. But you're replacing a lot of players from last year, and there are a lot of newcomers to the program this year. So there is a little newness going on, but your main performers are performing every single tournament. It's just a matter of when your auxiliary or support players also start notching that up. And then you look out. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter right now because you're not into the Sun Belt Conference play. And it's just like with football. You know, you catch a loss at Virginia Tech, you're going to go up and play Ohio State. It doesn't really ultimately matter if you lose those two games because you still have the full Sun Belt slate ahead. Same with volleyball.
Women's golf, they finished 12th out of 15 at the Cardinal Cup this weekend over in Simpsonville, Kentucky. Olivia Cochan had an even par 72 in the first round that had her in the top 10. I think she was tied for seventh outright at that time. But unfortunately, that would be the only par round for the tournament for Marshall. So they ended up not having a good second, third round. Finished 12th out of 15. Again, this was the very first meet of the year, golf outing of the year. Hoping to have a little more success as we move forward.
So I take responsibility for this one because they were right down the road for me and I did not go. So I provided no fan support. Yes, I was at work. I couldn't really go, but you know, it doesn't matter. You know, I should have went and found somewhere to stand. I'd have been a one man gallery, you know, but hey, so this one's on me, guys. This one's on me. I'll take this one for the team and they'll do better next time.
The last 2 days, men's golf has been in Davidson, North Carolina for the River Run Collegiate, and that finished up earlier today as well. J.F. Aber finishes tied for second, and that is his second consecutive top three. He was tied for third in that Joe Gaines Marshall Invitational last week, where everyone at Marshall had a really good round or a really good tournament. Let's see here. Ryan Bilby carded a 1 under 71 in the final round that vaulted him into a tie for seventh. So out of the top 10, we had two doing very well. And let's see here on the team results for this. Marshall finished 5th overall at, let's see, 22 over par. No team finished at par or better. The winner overall, Davidson, on their home course was 5 over par.
I'll take 2 in the top 10.
Yeah.
And 1 in the top 2.
Yeah.
Fresh off of a victory last week. I'll take that.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I was told there would be hats. I'm still waiting on the golfing Marco.
Well, I had someone reach out via Messenger and wanted to know if we had any avenue on those polos that they were wearing on, you know, it shows them from the first, the Gaines Invitational, that they were all wearing those Marshall golf polos, because I even got a size. It's like, if you do have an avenue, I wear this. And I was like, brother, I'd like to have one myself. So anyone out there listening, we really want hats. We want towels. We want polos. We're willing to pay for these things. All you got to do is make them available.
Yeah, make them available. Like, give the fans what we want, man. We want killer herd gear that's not a standard T-shirt or a standard, like, give me, I want to go to the beach with a cool towel. You know, I want to buy a different hat.
Yeah. Who wouldn't want to go to the beach or go to the swimming pool and have one of those Marshall striped towels or the Marshall script.
Yeah.
I'd love to have one of those.
Yeah. I know, I've been seeing here recently on Twitter where all the athletic programs are tweeting out their like store, with all their, and look, I love you guys. Sell me your sport specific item like a towel. I would buy a shirt that says Marshall Swim and Dive, but I would much rather have a towel.
Yeah, and I would pay more than I would for a T-shirt.
Yes,
for that because it's a specialty item.
Yes, I would buy a shirt that says Marshall Golf, but I would rather have a nice polo or a cool hat. Give me what I want, damn it.
Softball. They're already playing fall ball. There will be hosting West Virginia State on Friday at 7 p.m. So anyone that is not going up to Columbus, or if you're going early Saturday morning, you've got something that you can go and watch. Get over to the dot.
Yeah, man. Fall ball. Can you believe it? Seeing the pictures floating around and the girls in uniform, and it's like that, man. It's like they're gearing up, dude. It's like it's already here.
Baseball, we're going to be talking about it probably next week in Around the Herd
awesome.
about fall ball.
Awesome. I saw. Hey, did you see the video that was posted of them putting in some work over there, man? It looked really good. The guys look high energy, lots of sweat flying around there, man. It was pretty cool. I like those kind of perspectives. We don't get that a lot, from especially in preseason stuff for some of this stuff, and so it's really cool to see that. I'm getting more and more pumped for these Olympic sports.
Women's soccer, they will be at Georgia State on Sunday at 7 p.m., and that will be the very first match in Sun Belt Conference play.
Okay. That's right. They had a really early, what wasn't it, non-con thing, and
yeah, they went, I think, 13 days before they'll be playing this. They didn't have a game at all this past week, so they had some time to sit down and work on some things. Hopefully, any nagging injuries, heal those up going into Sun Belt Conference play. But they finished up their non-con schedule, I think, on September the 9th. And then they've had this break until coming up on Sunday. Nothing else Marshall Athletics will be going on Sunday at 7 p.m. So make sure you get on ESPN Plus and watch women's soccer.
So let me circle back real fast to softball because I just opened up the Twitter and heard softball picked up a commit today. How about that? Class of 2026 middle infielder / third baseman, J.C. Goad from Catlettsburg, local gal.
Yeah.
Ranked, according to her profile, 23rd in the extra innings top 100. How about that? So Morgan pulling some local talent. And extra innings for folks, they're legit. It's not like russesrankings.com or KD.
Which those would be legit too.
So extra innings softball is a legit outlet, and so a top, really you want to call it a top 23 player in the class of 2026 coming to the Herd. And you love getting the local talent. So welcome to the Herd, JC Goad.
Yeah, we've really seen an uptick on local players since Coach Zirkle got here.
They want to play for the local legend, man.
That's right. All right, we're going to finish it up with men's soccer. They beat Gardner-Webb 2-0 on Tuesday of last week at home, and then they had a draw against St. John's at home on Saturday, 1-1. And they will be traveling to South Carolina for a Sun Belt matchup on Friday at 7 p.m. That kicks off their conference schedule.
Awesome.
Really disappointed in that draw. The 1-1 seemed like we, just kind of let that one get away. We had some opportunities late within the last, I think, 8 minutes, 7 minutes or whatever to score and just couldn't get it done. But I think that'll probably, I don't know, the rankings probably came out earlier today.
Marshall landed at number 10.
That's it.
Little bit of a slip, but still in the top 10 nationally. Apparently there's a new number 1 in the country as well. So the state of West Virginia as a whole still has 2 in the top 10, but there is a new number 1. So a lot of movement early on in these polls for soccer.
Yeah.
Uncharacteristic of what we will see once conference play gets in.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of that movement is because basically they took the way that it ended last year and just said, okay, here's the start for this year. And, when teams now in the transfer portal era or people going pro, a lot of these teams have lost a lot of players that had to retool. So, I feel like that's why there's been some jockeying for position. But Marshall really needed to win that one not for conference play. It doesn't matter whatsoever. But I just think for those rankings, so we could be at a certain high ranking later in the year.
Because now your streak of being in the top 10 is like you're 10. There's nowhere else to go. You kind of have to win. So, but that's just an irrelevant thing. Marshall's still good, even if they happen to lose 2 games. In the next couple of weeks. I mean, you don't want to because it's Sunbelt play and all that kind of stuff. But they're still a top team, and it doesn't matter this early in the season where they are ranked, because at the end of the season they could be cruising and a team that nobody wants to face. And you get hot at the right time, and you can bring home a college cup. Hello. We've kind of seen that. But yeah, a little disappointing. We really needed to get one, and we're unable to secure that win, but kind of fell to a draw, but it is what it is. So now the real season begins, and it's time to kick ass and take names and take no prisoners and leave no doubt, and all the other isms and sayings.
Yeah. KD, that does it for Around the Herd. It was a shorter episode since we had that standalone preview from ComAssist and having Eric Boggs from the Ohio podcast on that. Like you said, that will be a separate episode. So this one's short and sweet.
Yep, short and sweet. We'll try to get this one up as soon as we can so that we can space out and give you your preview as it becomes more appropriate, for you to listen to on the drive up. Which, by the way, let me give you a few teasers for that episode. We asked Eric, of course, about the game and players for the Buckeyes, and man, let me tell you, when you talk about loaded, holy shit, they are a loaded team. But for you Herd fans that are going to Columbus maybe for the first time ever, or going back and are looking for some things to get into or experience for game day, just let me tell you now, be prepared to go to the campus area super early, because it's a noon kickoff, because there are things that are going to be going on 2.5 to 3 hours before kickoff that are open to you and free and really, really awesome that you might want to see. So prepare for an early day and get started early, but also prepare for a buttload of traffic and kind of unfriendly parking and a fairly lengthy walk from where you may have to park. So that's just your little teaser, but you'll get all the great stats, info, and analysis that you always get from the ThunderCast. A little bit extra for the fan experience for people coming up from Huntington to Columbus. Russ, if you got nothing else, take us out of here.
Just real quick, want to give a shout out to our title sponsor, 304carwreck.com, Leasure Oliver PLLC, but you can find them at 304carwreck.com. They've been with us since before day one. We say that a lot. And recently I had a discussion with some people that it's not just here in the tri-state area. They have 304carwreck.com. They also have 740carwreck.com, 606carwreck.com. That means they have West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio. It's not just the tri-state area. It's all 3 of those states. No matter where you live, if you get hurt in a wreck, you can find them at those websites, and they will take care of you. And it's not someone where you're calling in and getting a corporate person you don't know who you're going to get. It's only the team of Leasure or Oliver. So you've got Jason Leasure or Matt Oliver, and they'll be representing you if you get hurt in a wreck. Just wanted to give them a shout out. We haven't done that in a while, and just keep them in mind. All right, I'm going to take us out of here, and whether you see us at the Cam, whether you see us at the Joan, or whether you see us making the drive to Columbus and then tailgating super early up there for the game, no matter where you see us, we're going to be saying, go Herd.
Go Herd. It's a kegs and eggs kind of weekend in Columbus. We'll see you when we see you. Later.